Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Slated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated. If this is your first time joining us, before I dive into the content for today, welcome. Do me a huge favor. Click the like button on this video. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Click that notification bell for notifications as to when my new episodes are uploaded. Man, if you've already seen the thumbnail, which I'm certain you probably already have, if you clicked on the channel, then you know that this episode is regarding Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Before I get into this content or too deep into this content, this is breaking news surrounding Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, who suffered through a few health scares with concussions over the last couple seasons. But before we dive into the content once again, a word from our sponsors from Signature Barbershop. Yo! A fresh haircut is unmatched when it comes to making one feel like a brand new person. Patience coupled with precision, timing mixed with mastery are just a few ingredients that turn great barbers into legendary. Clean, comfortable, and elegant environment. Signature Barbershop puts your transformation in arm's reach. With locations in Scottsdale and Chandler, AZ. For a cut above the rest, book your appointment immediately. What more do you need to see? Oh yeah, and tell them Cosmic sent you. Blessings. So that was a word from our sponsors from Signature Barbershop, a cut above the rest. If you're ever in the Phoenix metro area looking for a spot to get a haircut, man, definitely pop in on them. You won't be disappointed. Again, this episode I'm going to get into today, again, breaking news for those joining us. Breaking news, I'm going to entitle today's episode, Tua Tagovailoa, a life and death retirement decision. Sources of information that will be tapped into today will be a CNN. I have reports from ABC News Live that I want to share. And also from the brothers at the Format Podcast who weighed in as well. So I want to get right into this information. And what I'm going to do is to share with you the first bit of information that we have, which comes in from ABC News Live. Let's take a listen.
Concern is growing over Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa after he suffered another concussion on the field. Tagovailoa struggled to get back up after the big hit. Now some are urging the 26-year-old star to consider stepping away from the game for good. ABC's Lara Spencer has the latest.
He's going to run for the first down.
A scary moment on the football field, putting the issue of player safety front and center.
Here it is again.
Miami Dolphins star quarterback Tua Tagovailoa taking a hard shot to the head from the Buffalo Bills' Damar Hamlin. Late in the third quarter of the primetime game, Tagovailoa running the ball, lowering his shoulder and colliding with Hamlin.
And takes a shot at the 6-yard line.
Tua taking a brutal hit to the head. His hands appear to seize, an immediate sign of neurological trauma known as fencing. Rolling on his side, holding his helmet.
I was just worried about my guy, not something that you ever want to be a part of. You know, you hope not to.
Former NFL star Des Bryant saying, that's it. The NFL has to do the right thing. Tua has had entirely way too many concussions. Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp agreeing, saying Tagovailoa should shut it down, writing, his concussions are getting worse and worse, and he's a young man with his entire life ahead of him. And Super Bowl champion Damian Woody telling Scott Van Pelt last night,
This game of football, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. You got so much life to live. And for me, it's just sickening to see this man, seem like time and time again, being in that uncomfortable position.
The scene eerily similar to this one from the Dolphins' Thursday night football game 2 years prior.
Down he goes, slung down at his own 48-yard line.
Tagovailoa thrown to the ground, smashing his head and back on the turf, leaving the field on a stretcher. He suffered 2 confirmed concussions that season, and even before this most recent hit, the QB revealing he was considering retirement because of them.
I considered it, for a time, having sat down with my family. I love the game of football. If I didn't, I would have quit a long time.
So that report from ABC News Live regarding Tua Tagovailoa and his most recent concussion, the third of his career in the year 2022. He suffered 2 brutal concussions, which saw him miss significant time on the season. After some off-season adjustments and how he trained even, fortunately he came back to the Miami Dolphins and he suffered no issues, not even a solitary concussion in the 2023 season. However, opening night of the 2024-2025 season, last Thursday, for those who were tuned in, Tua, as you just saw, suffered his third very, very serious concussion. Very concerning for this young man. Obviously, if you're a fan of the sport, you don't want to see, this sort of a thing happen to anybody. But football, realistically, is a very, very aggressive contact sport. It is what it is when you have, a few 100-pound, 200-pound human beings crashing, into each other. The likelihood of serious injury, man, is imminent. It's very, very present. So, unfortunate that this brother has had to go through this, repeatedly. But again, that report was from ABC News Live, where you heard even the likes of Shannon Sharpe, Des Bryant, Damian Woody, kind of expressed like, yo, this is not cool. This brother should probably just wrap it up. It's a matter of life and death and being here for his family. So, those as highlightables I wanted to make sure that we tapped into here. But moving forward, I want to introduce an article from CNN.com published this morning. So this is breaking news from as early as a few hours ago. Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa has no plans to retire after latest concussion, according to the NFL Network. This article, published on CNN.com, is by George Ramsey. CNN, Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa does not plan to retire after sustaining the latest of several career concussions last week, sources told NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. Tagovailoa was forced off the field during the Dolphins' 31-10 loss against the Buffalo Bills on Thursday after diving for a first down and taking a hit from Bills safety Damar Hamlin. The 26-year-old has a history of concussions. He suffered multiple in the 2022 season and said in 2023 that he had considered stepping away from football for a time due to the impact of the head injuries. On Sunday, Rappaport said on NFL Game Day that Tagovailoa's current goal is to get on the field when he is ready, adding that he wouldn't be surprised to see the quarterback miss multiple games. Rappaport also said that Tagovailoa has begun the process of seeing a concussion specialist, as with his previous injuries. CNN has contacted Tagovailoa's representatives for comment, while the Dolphins decline to comment. I'm not trying to even look at, how serious this is relative to his past concussions. Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel told reporters on Friday, really for me, I know the facts are that it's important that he gets healthy day by day, and in that, the best thing I can do is not try to assess what this event means from a football standpoint. Asked about whether Tagovailoa might be considering retirement, McDaniel said that it would be so wrong of me to even sniff the subject. He added, all the science behind concussions tells you what we've learned is how delicate the time is right after an injury and how important it is that you don't institute extra sources of anxiety. The only 2 options that really matter, that are the absolute driving force for what we're doing at that position, are Tua and the doctors. I don't have any information from them. Tagovailoa guided the Dolphins to the playoffs last season and agreed to a 4-year contract extension in the offseason, reportedly worth $212.4 million. During last week's game at Hard Rock Stadium, the Dolphins star stayed on the ground after the tackle from Hamlin, but eventually walked off the field under his own power. Backup quarterback Skylar Thompson came in his place. Las Vegas Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce was among those calling for Tagovailoa to retire after sustaining another concussion. It's not worth to play the game, Pierce told reporters. I haven't witnessed anything like I've seen that's happened to him 3 times. Scary. You can see right away the players' faces on the field. You can see the sense of urgency from everybody to get to a help. But speaking on ESPN on Sunday, former New England Patriots linebacker Teddy Bruschi, who had a stroke, age 31, and later returned to play in the NFL, said that he would support Tagovailoa's decision to come back to football. So that article, once again, from CNN, and again, it just kind of highlights, the severity of the matter. Obviously you have, a larger voice from present NFL and past NFL players saying that he should wrap it up, that he should retire, just for, health and safety concerns longer term. And obviously his life, which is most important, worth far more than the money, being here for his family, far more important than playing a game of football. You get the likes of Teddy Bruschi and maybe some others who, are saying, oh, I'd be in support of him playing. And I kind of wanted to do this video in breaking news and sharing with you this article of information and also the news report to kind of drive home that point myself, that I know for some, there are a lot of just varying positions. It's a very nuanced. I've heard a lot of different nuanced, responses and opinions surrounding what Tua should do in terms of his retirement decision. Whether or not he retires, I've heard people say is up to him. If he decides to get back on the field, man, he knows what comes with it. If doctors clear him, just a lot of different comments, etc. And in my opinion, I think that he should retire. And it's not just me. Also, the Wall Street Journal published an article earlier today, which is entitled "Tua Tagovailoa has a life decision to make, not a football one." So again, that drives home the point, in my opinion. I did not really dig into this article because fuck the Wall Street Journal, and they're trying to charge for their articles. But you could do the research on your own as it pertains to that article if you'd like. I wanted to, from here, share, again, some of that nuanced opinion surrounding Tua Tagovailoa's decision. As Wall Street Journal says, he has a life decision to make here in this situation after the 3rd concussion, very severe, not just a football decision. And so I also wanted to cite as a reference point here in this breaking news episode surrounding Tua Tagovailoa, the brothers from the Format Podcast. So shout out to Bruce, Geno, and the Transformer. I happened to tune into their podcast, and I was able to call in after listening to their opinion, on the subject and share a bit of my own in terms of my opinion and my perspective on the matter. So what I want to do is I want to play for you guys a significant portion of that episode from the Format Podcast. If it's right here on YouTube, so if you have not subscribed to these brothers' channel, man, make sure that you do so. I don't know them personally. I only subscribe to the channel, and from what I assume, I think that all 3 of them are from Baltimore. So being a DC dude, I can be touched by that. I don't know them personally, but you know what I mean? We have a bit of a connection just from general area, and obviously now a connection on YouTube, regardless of where they're actually from. But again, I want to play a bit of this episode, and then it's kind of lengthy. So I have my popcorn here. If you guys have watched previous episodes, when I break out the popcorn is because, man, it's going to get good. So I have my popcorn, water, bit of an energy drink. I want to jump into their comments and commentary, and then I'm going to come back and close out with my opinion. But again, you'll hear me call in on this particular soundbite as well, and share some of my opinion as well. Let's take a listen together.
All right, so so the Tua thing, man, Tua is in a bad way, and now people are concerned about whether or not Tua should call it a career. And there's a lot of different thoughts on that. A lot of times they talk about saving the athlete from themselves because, you know, they have the competitive mentality. They want to get back out there. He just signed a new deal this past offseason. So what I heard and what I read was that if the doctors and the league tells him that advising him he can't play anymore, he can walk away with injury guarantees of $167 million. But I think if he doesn't, I think he gets what he earned so far this year and his signing bonus, which still tens of millions of dollars, right? A lot more than most of us will see in their lives, but he'd be leaving a lot on the table. And something tells me that he probably wouldn't walk away anyway. So what are you guys' thoughts first on the injury, how it happened, his concussion history, and what you think he should do?
Yeah, I look at the whole Tua thing, and you know, we want to make these decisions for this man, but at the end of the day, that drive to play football, man, that itch to do the things that you do weekend preparation, getting ready for the game, that's going to be his Achilles heel, and that might be the thing that like we may see him again, right? Let's say, for instance, the league shut him down for the rest of the year. He's still going to try to play and get that money because he's going to feel like he's better until he's not. I think somebody was telling me Ryan Clark had like 10 concussions.
Well, remember back in the day, dudes used to get concussions and they would hide it and stay in the game. Like Ryan Clark was saying that he would tell Troy Polamalu, like, you know, hey, I got dinged up. Just tell me where to be and I'll be there. You know what I'm saying? Because he might not remember the play or exactly what he's supposed to do. But, you know, that's how it was. Guys took it as a badge of honor.
So I say all that to say that, you know, he'll probably still try to play. And there's nothing nobody can, you know, do to stop him. That's a decision between him and his family. For me, money isn't everything, right? I think he's like he's too young to not be able to spend it or have to spend it on wheelchairs and shit. So if I was him, I'd definitely shut it down, take my money, and get a job on the sideline because it getting to the point now where if you see that hit, it wasn't really a nasty hit.
It wasn't a hit. He ran into DeMar.
Right.
More than DeMar hit him. DeMar was just there.
At this point, he can't even take, contact of no type, so he really should be playing with that bubble head. He should have a bubble head on and, hang it up. I mean, it's not like they're going.
No. We're laughing. It's a serious thing.
No, I'm laughing at the bubble head, but I'm not laughing at, the fact that, that happened to him. Of course, it's part of the game.
So let me hit this comment that we have on the screen. Sports T says should have been a lawsuit. He clearly had a concussion when he got hit on the field. The way they let him keep going is criminal. So I disagree with that, Sports T, because they have independent doctors, neurologists, etc. So it's not like a team doctor that's saying, hey, you're good, get back out there, right? These are independent doctors that, can say whether or not the person can go. And at the end of the day, if they get medically cleared after, however long they're out, et cetera, and then it's up to them to decide if they're going to keep playing, right? At this point, it's not like the old days. Every player knows the physical dangers that they're facing getting onto the field. So if they choose to do that, man, I don't what can you do? You can't stop these guys from going and doing what it is they've trained their whole life to do and what they love to do. There's no lawsuit there. I definitely don't think so. But whatever. I mean, if it was me and I'm the NFL, I put waivers in every contract, making you acknowledge that you understand the dangers and you waive them and you waive liability. So that's what I say. Agree. Absolutely. But it's the fact of whether or not those doctors are going to, and the league is going to medically retire him, right? Because I'm sure that Stephen Ross doesn't want to come out with a check for $167 million, right? So, I agree with you, Sports T. Players do need more protection because it is an extremely physical game. But, I mean, it is what it is. You can't stop grown men from doing what they're going to do.
Yeah, I think once a player signs off like, hey, look, I'm good, and you guys cleared me.
That's right.
I mean, what more can the NFL do? Like, they can't forcibly say, oh, no, we know you're not okay. Like, we don't know. Like, it's you. Yeah, I mean, you passed the protocol, right? There's a certain protocol that you have to pass, right? You cleared it. All right, man, he checked off all the boxes. This is the best medical staff. We're a $1 billion corporation. This is the medical staff that cleared him. If he says he's good to go, I got nothing. As a coach, I'm like, as a coach, I could possibly do something, but what am I to say? Like, oh man, y'all cleared him. He said he's good. I mean, I'll look like the doofus for not putting you back out there, and I'm trying to win a football game. We only got 17 opportunities during the
That's
year
right.
to win these things.
Yeah, this
It's
ain't
not
the
like we're
NBA.
the
You don't
NBA
get
where we got
right.
88, 82 games. You know what I mean? You could
Facts.
be out for a month, but we're still in the playoff hunt. No, you could be out for this game, and we could literally be looking at the wild card round, like hoping the other team loses just so we can win. But we'll look back at this game. Yeah, like I should have played to it, man. He was cleared, he was going to go, and we were hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, granted, you know that wasn't the situation. They were clearly losing this game, but you still fear for the kid's life, man. Like he wasn't able to take a normal hit. Like it wasn't nothing egregious about the tackle.
That's the crazy part. It wasn't dirty. It wasn't. Yeah.
And the crazy thing about it, DeMar was just in the same situation 2 years ago. It was a normal tackle. It was just normal about it, and it's just one of those things where you're like, man, bro. I mean, you got to think, bro. You're not completely fit enough to take this game. You know what I mean? Like you have more concussions than you have playoff appearances, bro.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
A bad thing, bro.
That's a terrible stat.
That's not a good look, bro. You got 3 like clear called concussions. You're 0-1 in the playoffs.
You know what?
You got your bag, bro.
I know a lawyer who used to work for the NFL. I'm gonna reach out to her tomorrow, and I'm gonna ask her if there's any like waivers in these contracts, because I can't imagine an entity as big as the NFL that makes that much money and has that much juice wouldn't put waivers in these deals to say, hey, you know the inherent risks of playing this game. We're no longer going to be liable if you decide that, you know, you want to be out there. Like, I know I would.
Yeah, they clearly don't know enough about CTE, you know, to kind of predict what's going to happen in the future. And so if he does decide to play, he probably should donate his body to science so they can study
afterwards.
Because right now it's a bonehead move. Keep going forward with this.
Because remember, Ryan Clark, he had I can't remember what his issue was, but he almost died in Denver, and I think he lost his spleen and he lost a piece of his liver, I think, because he had issues like playing at the altitude or whatever, and it caused him serious mental problems. And they asked him on First Take, like, yo, would you, knowing what you know now and everything, would you go back and do it again? He was like, hell yeah. and
that's the
darn
drive,
near to a man, all these players say that. Now, some of them don't necessarily want their kids playing. I think Ephraim Salaam, he was what, 13, 14 years as an offensive lineman in the NFL. So, you know, he went through the wars. He said he don't allow his sons to play football. I mean, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, all these guys, when you ask them, would you do it again? They all say, yeah. So like you can't, the NFL should not be liable for that. I don't think so.
And I think even like when I think the last concussion he had was against us, Green Bay, last year. I want to say it was his last diagnosed concussion. I think he got it that game. I think that's a game Sports T is talking about where he had a concussion. They allowed him to come back, but then later, I think the next game or after that, it was like, this man was concussed. Like,
that was the one.
He was out there playing.
Yeah, the first one was when he got up and he started walking and fell down, right?
Yeah, that was the first one. The second one, he kind of like he got up and like you could tell he was kind of off. He went to the sideline, but he was able to come back. Like they said, he cleared the protocol. He didn't really show the signs of having concussion. But they were looking at the plays that like they were happening. They was like, damn, he made that decision. It was like that man was running out there concussed. I mean, he just didn't know. But I think like when you look at that, man, his family all like after that Green Bay concussion, they were asking him to stop. They told him to come on home.
I heard that too.
It was like, hey man, you're good, bro. Come on home.
Right.
You tried. It's all right, bro. You made it to a level that thousands of kids, thousands of high school students dream to do. You've done it. You've been there, but your body is telling you no. And I think this is one of those times, like you go back and you listen to your family again, and they're sitting down with that same conversation. Look, son, we love you, but for this game, we're not willing to lose you. You know what I mean? We don't want to lose you. You got some money. You got your money. Bow out. It's okay to bow out. We see that it's not you. Like your mentality is saying go, but your body is telling you no. It's you know what I mean. Listen to your body, man. Before because like you can play around with your knee, like oh man, I was just trying to. Force
that's something totally different. We're talking about your brain.
We're talking about your brain, bro. You can end up in a wheelchair or dead out there messing around with your brain, man. So I think he really needs to go back and just listen to your family, bro. Your family is not going to steer you in the wrong direction. You have the clause in your contract where you walking away with millions of dollars, so you're set, bro. You're set as far as monetary. But your will for the game just isn't worth it isn't worth your health, bro. It really isn't.
Right. No, I agree wholeheartedly.
It could have it could have been a lot worse. I think it could have been a lot worse for him than, Mr. Was Hamlin?
Damar Hamlin.
Yeah.
Which
Damar
coincidentally,
Hamlin. He's been a lot
he
worse.
made the tackle on the play. That's
Right.
not facing near the constant repetitive collisions that these guys are. So yeah, not really.
And the full contact, you got to think, guys, the helmet actually makes it worse. If you actually play football, that clap when them helmets collide, it's the sound as well that can also give you a concussion.
Okay.
It may not be the impact. So if you actually you played in pads, when them helmets cut and you like, oh man, that was a good hit. To them, that wasn't. Like, but bro, I played like when that helmet makes that clap noise, bro, you like.
So I think that's why they're trying to come up with all these different models of safer helmets, and they're working on all the padding, because what happens is, and you, like you said, you played, so you know, when the collision happens and then you're shaking it, it's your brain rattling around in there. So what they're doing is trying to minimize your head shaking around to keep your brain from rattling around and banging your skull. So like really, they can't protect your brain, but they can protect your head and minimize all that shaking so that your brain shaking is minimized. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. Tua's going to have to make that decision, because I'm sure at some point they will clear him, because, well, you saw who the backup is. And let's be real here too. This is also a business. Yes, we all care about Tua as a person. We all seem to think he's a good person. We care about the fact that I think he's married. He has either one or, a couple of kids. So as a father, we all understand what that's about. But at the same time, from the flip side, it's a business as well, right? And the Dolphins are trying to win games, and they are trying to somehow get back to and win another Super Bowl. And clearly they can't get anywhere near that without Tua. All right, y'all have anything else to add before we go ahead and open up the phone lines on this topic? Definitely want to hear what people got to say about this Tua thing, and what they think he should do, or what they think the organization or the NFL should or should not do. All right, I'm going to go ahead. That's what I'm saying. If he gets cleared by an independent medical personnel and he decides to come back, they can't tell him you can't. I mean, guess theoretically they could cut him, but then they'd be on the hook for all that money with the salary cap. Like, it would be a monster salary cap hit. Go ahead, give us a call on the Format Podcast. We would love to hear from you about this Tua situation, kind of what you thought when you saw it happen. What do you think he should do going forward? What do you think the NFL and the Miami Dolphins should do? Can't wait to hear from you. Let's get it.
45,
here we
46.
go. Looks like we got a call. This looks like a new one. I don't even know this number. Format Podcast. Who's this?
What up, Bruce? This is Opinion Stated.
What's going on, man?
Hey, man, really love the content.
I appreciate
I've been checking
that.
you guys out. Wow. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. But it's my first time catching y'all live, so I'm excited, man, just to hear your takes. I figure as long as we ain't talking the Lakers, I don't have to worry about Transformer going off, so we good.
Relax, G. Who's your team?
Yo, I like
who's your
that.
team? Let's start off with who's your team?
You know what? I'm embarrassed to say, man. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm an old school Jersey. I'm a grandfather in Brooklyn Nets fan, I guess.
Okay.
Jersey Nets fan from Derek Coleman.
Okay.
He
Look,
hates
let
us
me
to the
interrupt
core.
you
They
real
haven't
quick.
been to the finals since 2001.
DC was a problem, and it's a shame. It's a shame Petro died, because DC, Petro, and Kenny Anderson, that was going to be a nasty big three back then.
True,
Yeah, man.
Oh, they was the truth.
Yeah.
They was the truth. Chris Morris wasn't no slouch either.
Nope, not at all. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, what was your thoughts on Tua, man?
So just on this Tua situation, man, it's a really sad situation. Obviously, like you say, man, everybody who plays, Tua was one of them ones, obviously, to get him to this point of playing in the NFL, which is dope. He's been able to live his dream on a higher level, which has brought him, the ability to be able to take care of his family, man, on a whole other level, moving forward. Health is wealth, man, so I don't know. I'm a little ignorant as far as the CBA goes in terms of, what this looks like for them to medically retire him. But yeah, that's probably the best option, because, when you think about it overall, you're talking about a life, you're talking about his health moving forward, but you're also talking about, the $1 billion industry that is the NFL, the effect of what this will have on fans, man, to watch, everybody knows how we felt about Damar Hamlin just a season ago. We're a season removed from watching and experiencing that. So to know that Tua has this concussion, history, man, to see that brother go down the way he did the other night was like, yo, this is crazy. So to see him die on the field, bro, will be even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially when we're getting all these signs. So I think that they should just medically retire the brother, let him ride off into the sunset, man. He wanted to enjoy his family, enjoy that he was one of them ones. Just leave it at that, bro.
I hear you. The only thing I'll say, at the risk of sounding was insincere, or I can't remember the word I'm looking for, but at the risk of sounding bad, the fact is that, excuse me, if they medically retire him, the Miami Dolphins are on the hook for $167 million. So they're not trying to do that.
That's what I meant. That's why I said I'm a little ignorant to how the CBA works in that regard. But I think that even still, man, financially, it's worth it. You know what I mean? You got to think about, like, I know they take the hit and maybe they can't erase that, and so it keeps them at a cap level for a long time. But it's that, man, don't have that man down on the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And at the end of the day, even if he should walk away, right, or get medically, let's say he walks away, he decides, his family tells him, hey, I don't want you to play anymore, and he decides not to do that. He got a $42 million signing bonus off this new deal. That's his. He gets that regardless, right?
Well, yeah.
And so I mean, that's generational money right there. So if you're smart with that money,
with about $20 million.
Yeah, you would do it well. No state income tax in Florida, and if you're not playing anymore, you don't have to pay the jock tax. So there's that.
True. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he will end up keeping a decent chunk of that dough.
About 30,
you know what I'm saying? Maybe about 25, 30. Yeah. So
for sure.
So yeah, I would say that. You got anything else to add, Opinion?
That was it, man. I appreciate y'all. Keep up the good work, man. I'll stay tuned and I'm subscribed and all that, man. Love what y'all doing, man. Keep it up.
Hey, no doubt, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
What's your name, man?
Share that with other people. Yeah. What is your name, man? So I can save you.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm Q Cosmic. Yeah, I just started my channel, The Opinion Stated, Joint, man, about 4 months ago.
All right, cool. I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. Y'all one of them ones that I'm looking to just gain inspiration and know-how as well, man. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, man.
Hey, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it a lot. So if y'all in the chat, y'all hear that, check out the Opinion Stated podcast. I'm gonna check that out as well when we get off of here tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right, brother. Bless you.
All right, you too.
So that was Bruce Geno and the Transformer, host of the Format Podcast right here on YouTube. If you haven't checked out these brothers' channel and their show, definitely do so. Subscribe to their channel, man. Their content is super dope. They're one of my favorites here on or in the independent media space. Kind of doing their thing. So I wanted to share that clip. Obviously, like I said, I called in during their live stream of the podcast and just share my thoughts and just kind of harping on what I said there. And, also addressing a bit of the nuance that they share just in their opinion throughout that audio clip that you guys just heard. I am 100% in favor of health. Health is true wealth. And, as it pertains to exactly what is happening right now with how serious and grave I feel like this situation is surrounding Tua's health, he seems to be concussion prone, at this point, which, speaks more to genetics than anything else. It's with as sensitive as this concussion issue is for him. I mean, it appears that this brother could, which any of us could, fall out of bed, hit our head, and get a concussion. You know what I mean? So especially it's heightened when you're talking about playing a contact physical sport. I just don't think that medically his body is set up for him. And I think that that's been proven now through 3 situations and maybe more in college that we didn't know about, maybe more in high school that weren't reported. Like, I think that this is a 3 strikes and you're out kind of a thing for me. Now, I'm not saying that I know more than doctors know. I'm not suggesting that I know more than, or I'm a better advisor than his family, his representation, whomever is in his ear. But what I am saying is that this is the third time that this situation has reared its head for us to see. I do not think it is a coincidence that we are literally 2 seasons removed from Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills dying on the field. I don't think that it is a coincidence that Damar Hamlin was in on this play, hitting Tua, tackling Tua, legitimate tackle, nothing egregious, nothing dirty, not spearing, none of that stuff, bro. No helmet-to-helmet contact, just a standard tackle, but I don't think that it's a coincidence that Damar Hamlin was the player that made this tackle. I think that that is a sign. That is not an opinion. That is just what I feel. I just feel like we're getting all the warning signs that we could possibly be getting. It is time for them to shut this young man down before he loses his life on the field. It is not worth it, yo. I don't care how many millions you have on the table. You know what I mean? And that's suggesting that money may be the motivation for staying out there. I don't care how little you've been able to prove on this NFL level. It is not worth your life to it. You know, so I only hope that this brother, you know, sits down with his advisors and his family and everybody is literally talking sensibly to this young man. I think that it is time for him to retire. I think that the NFL and the team, if nothing else, should step in and protect Tua Tagovailoa from himself, even if he, as the brother stated in the Format Podcast soundbite, you know, is just so hell-bent and desirous of getting back on field when he's medically cleared. I think at some point somebody has to look out for him and save him from himself if he's the one gung-ho about, you know, going about his business and playing in the NFL so that he might achieve whatever goals he set for himself, which are noble. I'm not saying that those aren't maybe loft or noble goals, right, to want to accomplish, but it's not worth his life. And I think that all these signs and these situations have taken as signs. Now, third strike, it's time for this brother to retire, you know, for his own health and safety long term. From what I know about concussions, and I can be fact checked on this, so I'm not speaking as a medical professional at all, but just in my experience in life with concussions, I know that a concussion is generally associated with brain swelling. So there's but so much oxygen, you know, in our head between our actual brain and our skull, you know, the skeleton. So if that space is consumed with, you know, oxygen, the swelling, rather, you know what I mean? Your brain could swell in your forehead to squeeze out the oxygen. And you know what I mean? That's kind of where the seizures come from and things of that nature when we see an individual seize. So it's just not safe. I don't want to see the brother die on the field. I remember how, you know, watching that Bills game and seeing Damar Hamlin, you know, essentially die on the field. You know, his heart stopped beating. So that brother suffered a cardiac arrest right there on field. And, you know, in front of the world, you know, for the world to sit praying, hoping for the best for him. He was in on this Tua play just last Thursday. You know, I've now lived through 3 concussion situations, the 3, you know, that Tua has suffered. I think the last thing that anybody and any of us needs from a fan perspective, his family, you know, being traumatized by him losing his life merely to play a game. His life is not a game. Nobody's life is a game. So that has been this particular episode. Tua Tagovailoa, a life and death retirement decision. With breaking news I've shared here with sources from CNN, ABC News Live, and the Format Podcast. It was reported also today that Tua Tagovailoa will see neurologists this week, as it even stated in that CNN article that he will be seeing specialists this week, much like he did for the 2 previous concussion situations. Again, I am not sure what these rulings will be, man, but what I do know, again, is that, you know, these situations have to be grave enough and serious enough to be taken at this point more serious than the previous 2 situations. You know, if not, man, again, the brother could, you know, suffer death on the field or worse, serious, far more serious medical issues as a result of all the head trauma repeatedly from potential concussions moving forward, or, you know, as a result of something else that may happen to him on the field from a medical standpoint, based on how he just seems to just be genetically made up. So that has been the basis of this episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Prayers to Tua Tagovailoa and his family. Wishing you a speedy recovery, brother, and also, man, the best of health. Hopefully you will make the right decision in this case, whatever that decision is for you and your family, regardless of whether or not you retire or you come back to football. You know what I mean? Like, the world is behind you, bro. We're praying for you, and we're hoping for the absolute best for you and all those others who suit up and take to the field in their respective sports. So that has been the basis of this episode. If you guys haven't done so already, once again, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click that notification bell to be notified as to when my newest episodes are uploaded. I appreciate you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, blessings.